and welcome back to Pesterquest streams. Been a bit, but the latest volume did come out on this Wednesday. We're starting in on the Alpha Kids with Jane. Welcome, Jade. Welcome, Odd. Welcome, anyone viewing anonymously. I'm really happy to hear that you had a good day. That's awesome. Very tired, but excited to be alive. Fuck yeah. That is the way to fucking be, though. Yeah, I'm really glad you had a good day. These are all of these links are for after the game, so we're gonna hop right into loading up Pesterquest for now. But yeah, good stuff. Good vibes are happening. I am trying to bring my very best vibes as well. I'm you know what? Fuck it. This may be TMI. That's a fair warning. But I have very bad cramps today. And, that's getting me kind of down. But we're going to have a good time because we're going to do Jane's Pesterquest and it's going to be really good and really fun. Oof, yeah. And exciting streaming news. I flipped the stream quality back up to 1080p, so for the folks who can do the super shiny 1080p streamy stream, the quality has been put back up because now I have internet that won't lag a bunch if I do 1080p. Hell yeah, we are bringing the excitement, the energy. Yes, okay. I forgot about this. I just, put my hand down on my desk, and I was like, oh, yeah, there's a quarter here. Because, okay, so, earlier today, my brother was like, Nintendo does this thing on there where they have, the gold coins that you can get when you, buy stuff through the store, or if you, register a cartridge within a year of it coming out, I think. Or they have, the platinum points, right, that you get by, doing silly stuff on the website. You can get those for free. And you can get themes for your 3DS. Ooh, using these points. Which is a thing that a lot of people don't know about, I guess, because they don't really advertise it very well. But my brother ran out of gold points, because he used all of his gold points on a game, and he's like, they just came out with a really good theme. Can I use some of your gold points? And I was like, oh, rip, I just used them all, because I did. I had to renew my Nintendo Switch Online subscription, make sure that everybody in the family was still wanting to be in the family, because I have a family thing with a friend and, one of my cousins. And I used all my gold points for a discount on the Switch Online, which, fun fact, Nintendo does not send out a reminder email for that until 4 days before it expires. So, be warned if you turned off auto-renew like I did, because I don't like the idea of random things being allowed to just spend my money. I'm getting very distracted. So basically, I ended up, the family plans are, really good. It's, even just with 3 of us, it's cut it down to, about, $16.50 a person. And then, that's Canadian dollars also. But yeah, so he's like, and so I was like, okay. So I looked through the sales section, and I, found, a little puzzle kind of game that was on sale. It was $8. I was like, this looks interesting. I was like, no, we'll just use, I'll buy this and we can use the points for your thingy. So I did that, and I wasn't expecting anything in return, but then he just handed me a quarter, and he's like, thanks, here's money, I guess. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting, I was just gonna be charitable. I wasn't expecting to get the money back, but he gave me the 20 cents it cost, plus I don't know, 5 cents tip for my labor. He just gave me a fucking quarter. So now I have this like quarter. Yeah, he handed me like a literal actual quarter, and I was like, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Even though it was only 20 cents, you still paid me back and then some. So, I have to not lose that in my room somewhere and actually put it in my wallet at some point in time. But, anyway, that was a side story. I just got a bit distracted by that. Okay. So, Jane vibes. Look at this beautiful page where they expanded the space to fit the final 4 icons, including Jane, Volume 11, The Call of Leadership. And of course, we start off still on Alternia because that is where we were previously. It's a beautiful moonlit night on Alternia. The sky is clear, a cool breeze is blowing, and even the unbearable screeching of the steel-throated bat crickets sounds a little sweeter than usual. And yet, a moment of panic hangs in the air. My boy. Dave, are you okay? Hey! Oh god. What has she done? Dave? Please tell me that's just grub sauce. Please just be grub sauce. Please just be grub sauce. Please just be grub sauce. Carcat, stop being so melodramatic. It wasn't even me who did it. Okay, fine. It was my fault. I admit it. But I'm sure he'll be fine. Yeah, Carcat. It's no biggie. I mean, this is obviously the shittiest situation I could possibly be in right now. And, like, my lawyers will be in touch. Don't even think that they won't. But also, it is literally fucking grub sauce, so, like, chill for 2 seconds, okay? Oh, thank God. Like, I know the idea of me having to swap out my soiled, ketchup-encrusted pants is getting you all hot and bothered under that sweater, but damn. This is a picnic, dude. There are children present. Hi, Noah. And yes, so many sprites, so many styles. They look so fucking good together, though. It really shows, like, how much they've kind of refined the way that they do these games, that, like, the dissonance sometimes between 2 different Hive Swap Friend Sim sprites next to each other was, like, incredibly jarring. Like, I think, you know, the best example, I think, being in Lonksfruit, which involved both Ardata and Diamond standing next to sprites from way later in the game, and, like, it was whoa, the difference in the art style, both gorgeous, of course, but standing next to each other, you could really tell that they'd kind of refined what they wanted the style for the game to be. And all of the sprites for this game they're, like, unique to the artist styles, but they have, like, a certain harmony when they're standing with each other, and I think it looks really awesome. And just like that, everything's alright. You have single-handedly revolutionized the art of picnicking on Alternia. You got a huge checkered blanket, a car-sized wicker hamper, an unholy quantity of foods in Tupperware containers, a lively crowd of your best and most recently acquired friends. Everything one could possibly need. Shit's quaint as all fuck out here. I love all these gals in one frame. So, how many tentacles would you say she has, roughly? Rose! Let me see. It's okay, take your time. My interest is, purely scientific. Thank you, Kanaya, for finishing that sentence. The 2 of them, next to each other. I'm smacking my chest right at my heart. Look at how big Fef is. Buff. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just so in love with the fucking art for this game. God. Yes, precisely. Thank you, Kanaya. This is part of my studies in the field of cryptozoology. It's hardly an exact science, but you can help us make it exacter. Well, that's the problem. I really don't think there's a definite answer. She just has so many. Fascinating. Everyone seems to be having a really great time. You're a pretty good picnic host, if you do say so yourself. You let yourself lie back on the blanket and relax. These two. Validating you so hard right now. Yeah, this little scene is very nice. I do have one caveat, but we'll get to it in a hot minute. Used to roleplay Fefros with someone. Oh, that's cute. Nepeta, could you pass me one of those beautiful green pies, please? Jade and Sopor. What a mix. Oh, sure. Let me just... It's okay, I got this. Dude. Step off, LMAO. If he didn't ask for your help. Oh, there should be a little 2 there. Everyone's getting along so well. Well, I didn't ask for your opinion on whether the mid-blood human female wanted my help or not. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god, did you seriously just call her that? What is wrong with you? Guys? Humans don't even have different blood colors, you useless tool. Simply enjoying one another's company. Alright, that does it. I've had enough of this wishy-washy lawn meal nonsense. And I've had enough of you. Oh, thanks, Nepeta. Amongst the boy angst, Nepeta's just like, here's the pie. No problem. Eat shit and die. Why don't you make me? It will be my pleasure. Wait, what's going on over there? Oh no, dear God, no, not now! This is a disaster. You've got to find some way to stop this before everything you've worked for collapses under the weight of pointless, shitty boy drama. You don't have a moment to lose. Oh, hey, Gamzee. You just know that everything's going fantastically when all of a sudden the background grays out and Gamzee is here. What's better than this? Guys being allies. Oh, hi there, Gamzee. Don't mind you, you're just trying to stop a picnic emergency. Hey, hold on, sister, let's not be hasty. Right now, we're witnessing the birth of the greatest and, dare I say, most righteous miracle of them all. Gender motherfucking equality. And just like that, everything breaks apart. You wake up alone. Would you look at that? It was all a dream. Look, I'm pretty much, I enjoyed fairly well the rest of this route, but I think that it's all a dream. Putting a little it's all a dream at the beginning was maybe not the greatest decision. Okay, so the gender thing, I think, is because the reason, or a large part of the reason that Solix got mad at Aridin was because he called Jade a female. So I think that's why, yeah, that didn't quite, that flew over my head a little bit too. Cause like, y'all thought he was gonna say, what's better than this, guys being dudes, right? Cause like, that's where I thought it was going too. Yeah, exactly. Like, that would have been a golden opportunity. I was a little bit confused by the gender equality comment. You missed Feminist Gamzee. Sorry, Aleph. And welcome. We just finished the dream sequence. But yeah, that was that. You wake up alone. It's a cold, dark night on Alternia. The sky is overcast, a harsh wind is blowing, and the only other sound to be heard is your own breathing. Panicked, shaky, you curl up a little tighter in your puddle of blankets in the corner. You try and think back to the wonderful dream you were having, but now it all seems ruined. You were only trying to take a short rest from fomenting revolutionary sentiment among your peers and fixing all their problems, which, as it turns out, is a full-time job. You just wanted to indulge in your imagination for a while and skip to the part where everyone's happy already. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It all seemed so real, so full of potential. Like you could get there in an instant, if only you tried a little harder. But now it hits you like a cold, wet circus pie filled with cement. Your dream of hope was nothing more than that, with no basis in reality or accurate characterization. Some things are simply too good to be true, and your subconscious clearly knew that all along. It hurts, and you don't know whether to laugh, cry, or just get really, really angry about it. You made some wonderful friends over the last few weeks. Months? It's been such a hectic whirlwind of non-stop amicability, you're not even sure how long you've been going. You've achieved so much in your quest, you know that for a fact. But now, looking around this empty room filled with the ghosts of memories from a lifetime ago, you can't help but feel despondent. Maybe there are some things you won't ever be able to fix. Man, this blows. So, hello, Eeyore Umbra. Welcome. You are almost sleeping, but you will be with the stream. Thank you for sticking through your sleepiness to come join us on this lovely evening. But yeah, so we had that, the dream sequence, a little diatribe about, is it so wrong to want to rest and, indulge in your imagination and skip to the part where everyone's happy? Seemed so full of potential. But it was nothing more than that. I don't know. I'm a little lukewarm on the intro here. It feels a little bit on the nose to me. Maybe a little ham-fisted. But I'm very excited to get to the Jane part, which is coming soon. For some reason, your thoughts turn to John. He was conspicuously absent from your dream. It feels like you haven't seen him for ages. You miss him. Without really thinking about it, you pick yourself up. You've had enough of this horrible planet for now. Your friends here will be alright without you for a while. You tell yourself that a few times just to make sure you believe it. And then... zap! You materialize in a pleasantly familiar suburban neighborhood, standing in front of a pleasantly familiar house. It must be late fall by now. There's barely any leaves left on the trees, and there's a chill in the air. But your heart fills with warmth at the prospect of hanging out with your old friend John again. While your newer friends have all been fun to spend time with in their own ways, you can't help but feel a special kind of fondness for John. It's not like you to play favorites with your chums or anything, but maybe the fact that he was the first friend you met on your journey sets him apart from the others. It's nice to be back on Earth, too. You missed being able to go out in the sunshine. Your eyes wander a little, taking in the trees, the grass, the houses, before settling on the mailbox in the yard. A worrying thought occurs to you. Maybe, in getting so caught up with meeting so many new people, John has forgotten all about you. Surely your friendship wouldn't have diminished so quickly, but were you really all that close to begin with? It's like 1 a.m. in your time zone, but it's Saturday, so who cares? Oh, sweet, so you're a little further over. It's about 20 after 11 where I'm at. You still feel bad about having thrown his birthday present in the sewer all that time ago. That was just a shitty thing to do in more ways than one. you were a really bad friend to John before you were friends with John. You're suddenly overcome with the urge to make it up to him. Instead of making a new friend today, why not try being a better friend to one you already have? Taking a peek at the mailbox, there seems to be something inside. Maybe if you make absolutely sure to give it to him this time, that will start to make up for your earlier mistake. Yes, and you are at 9:20. Dang. Time to go boom. Indeed. I'm sure you all remember exactly what happened at the beginning of Act 1. Or at the end of Act 1, Act 1. Jane's mailbox blew up. So you can probably guess which one is going to be the bad end. Pilfer the post. Yeah, that's an excellent idea. John will be so happy the mail came with no mishap, and so grateful that you, his trusted pal, were able to make it happen. Perhaps you could even pretend it's an apology gift you got him? Wow, you've gotten so good at being a friend by now, it's not even real. There's basically no way this plan can backfire. You reach a hand inside the mailbox to grab the package, and then everything goes dark. Backfired! Okay. Off we go with all the lovely sprites next to each other, and we're back, just like that. Let's not blow ourselves up. Reconsider. On second thought, that's a terrible idea. Like, holy shit, that's bad. You take a moment to slap yourself around the face for a few minutes just to rub it in. How could you be so stupid? The kind of depravity that leads one to desecrate the sanctity of a friend's mailbox is it's what got you into this mess in the first place. Oh, huh. Looks like the mailman forgot to put up the thing. The flappy wingy doodad. The bright red arm dealie on the side of the mailbox. You are quite certain that this thing is supposed to be up when there's mail to be retrieved. Even an idiot could tell you that much, and you are a first-rate idiot. You carefully raise the little red flag. Immediately out of the corner of your eye, you spy movement in an upstairs window. It must be John, scoping out the mail again. Quick as a flash, you zap yourself out of sight and behind a nearby bush. A white cat is hanging out back there. It hisses at you, but you let a wave of crackling retcon energy dance across your palms and the kitty vanishes. It literally just straight up disappears. That's okay. Fine. Whatever. It is a truth universally acknowledged that cats can do whatever the hell they want. Except for taking this hiding spot, that is, which you have now commandeered in the name of friendship. Oh, this is a much better plan to surprise John. You can't believe you didn't think of it before. You know he loves pranks, and what better prank than to be ambushed by a dear friend? You hope you're still his dear friend. God, you're getting nervous again. You hear the front door open. Shoot, here he comes! Wait. This isn't John. Oh goodness, no. Why, it appears to be some kind of famous detective-type individual, or at least someone in a famous detective disguise. But what's more, you get the strange impression that the person underneath the disguise isn't John either. No, it is this beauty. It is Jane. Whoever it is, they make a beeline for the mailbox. Oh, shit. Maybe you're watching another mailbox robbery in action. That would explain the need for a disguise, you guess? They reach out their hand. All of a sudden, several things race through your mind unbidden. The smell of burning, a flash of light, pain. Without thinking, you spring into action. Oof! You grab the interloper and zap inside the house. You both materialize in midair and collapse in a heap on the floor. Outside, you hear the telltale sound of an exploding mailbox, because for some reason you know what that sounds like. Jane probably duels with Vriska for being the designer in Pesterquest you fell in love with immediately. Yeah, Jane's sprites are so gorgeous and so cute. I love all of her expressions. Tackle Pounce, indeed. And this background art with like the pale blue walls, that's really nice. And like the darker blue for the curtains. The lines between the timelines, they're blurring. Yeah, and we've got, of course, the 2 bunny gifts. I'm such a bad Homestuck fan. I can't remember the lore behind. I know the wizard one's from Roxy. The adventure one is from Jake, and then Lil Sebastian, the robot one, is from Dirk. But I forget how either of them had one of those bunnies in the first place. We'll get to Act 6 eventually in the reread. But, yeah, you know, the Problem Sleuth poster with Hysterical Dame and Nervous Broad. The blue guy, the poster from Jake, the Ron Swanson. Timeline shenanigans, it's all the same bunny. I mean, I remember it technically being all the same bunny. I just don't remember how, because I know, okay. Because Rose was the one who rode back with the original rabbit on the meteor, and she sewed the purple knitted parts to it. And then that got given back. That somehow ended back with John as well. So John gave the knitted one to baby Jade, who took the knitted one back on the meteor. So is it like this is the Guardians left the bunnies for the kids as family heirlooms, and the kids customized them and gave them to Jane? Okay, it's all coming together. I think that was it. I think that was it. Yeah, no, I think that was it, right? There was like treasured family heirlooms that they custom and then gave to Jane. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. Where's that fucking Dave quote about the mystery that didn't need being solved, but damn, didn't it just get solved anyway? That one. Okay, moving on. Phew, that was a close one. Oh, lordy, that's smart. What on earth just happened? Your companion sits up in a bit of a daze. It looks like the disguise got knocked off in all the kerfuffle. Yes, because the hat is now back on top of the chest at the back there. Your hunch was right. Your hunch was right on the money. This is definitely not John Egbert. She does look oddly familiar, though. You take a look out the window, down into the yard below. This is one of my favorite of her sprites, is this one right here. I love it so much. Yep. It's just like your ears told you. Where once there was a mailbox, there is now a smoldering wooden stump surrounded by debris. It's a sight to bring a tear to any mailman's eye, fake or otherwise. You turn back around to find the stranger standing over you, looking thoroughly disgruntled. Also strong appreciation for this one. She's pointing a large red spoon directly at your chest. It doesn't really come off as all that threatening, you have to be honest, although she could probably do you at least some form of injury with it. The injury likely wouldn't be all that serious, but you'll try to take it seriously anyway. Just to be polite. Now hold on just one moment, Buster. Who are you? What are you doing in my bedroom? And what in the blue blazes is going on? Come on, spit it out! Oh no, you hate being put on the spot. And the first question was such a tough one, too. Who are you? It's something you don't have a definite answer to, even after all this time. Gosh, she does seem awfully confident with that spoon. You begin to entertain the thought that this girl might simply decide to beat you to death with it. You're finding it hard to think amid all the confusion. Didn't she say that this is her bedroom? You were dead certain that this was John's house. It is John's house. It even has the tire swing and everything. And this girl, who even is she? John's never mentioned having a sister or anything before, but looking around her room, it's obvious that she lives here, and there's no trace of any of John's things. Did he move house without telling you? That thought makes you so impossibly sad. Well, if you won't talk, I suppose I'll have to suss out the truth myself. She looks at you very carefully for a moment before glancing over at one of the posters on her wall. It's a black and white picture of what looks like a daring group of detectives. They're drawn in a fairly minimal style with round, ovoid heads. Immediately, her face lights up in recognition. Oh, this one's my favorite. This is my favorite sprite. Oh, I see. Ooh, mum's the word. She taps the side of her nose knowingly and winks, and you realize she's trying to let you know that she knows something you supposedly both know. But all you really know is you have no idea what it is. So, Jane is under the impression that MSPA Reader is like a Problem Sleuth cosplayer, or from Problem Sleuth or something? I love you, but what the fuck was that? Yeah, I feel like it's this is a little bit of a stretch for our wonderfully skeptical Jane, but I'll bite. A problem sleuther in disguise, perhaps. Is MSPA Reader not a problem sleuth cosplayer? Think about it. I mean, yeah, the stylistic similarity is definitely there. MSPA Reader, was it Jailbreak that MSPA Reader first appeared in? I think it was Jailbreak. Looks like a prostitution, isn't one. Yeah. No, that is true. MSPA Reader is very, very problem sleuthy. Oh, you're very good. Pretending not to know that which you know that I know that we both know. That line, like, threw me for a fucking loop. I was, like, squinting at it the first time I read it. Pretending not to know that which you know, that I know, that we both know. Dang, was it Problem Sleuth? Shit, I thought it was Jailbreak. But, yeah, first appearance in Problem Sleuth, then. No, you're telling her. You haven't got the foggiest clue what she's talking about. Knowing stuff? How could anyone possibly accuse you? How could anyone possibly accuse you of such a thing? Oh, it's all right. I won't tell anyone. Keeping incognito is of the utmost importance. Keeping incognito is of the utmost importance for problem sleuths like us. Always a pleasure to meet a fellow fan. She seems to be under the impression that you're some sort of cosplayer? Either that or an undercover agent of some sort. Oh, what the hell, you might as well roll with it. This'll be easier than pretending to be a postal worker at any rate. Hold on a moment. I've got just the thing for a fellow gentle person of taste. She puts the spoon away for a moment, which is a relief, and then whips out another copy of the poster and a pen out of nowhere and signs it. You've never met or heard of this girl before, and she's just straight up giving you her autograph. You take a look at the signature. The name reads Jane Crocker. Huh. You guess this girl's name is Jane, then? Now that we've got that out of the way, nice though it is to make your acquaintance, that doesn't explain what you're doing in my house. Or, come to think of it, how we even got here. Well, it's all very simple, actually. Just a boring, everyday example of an innocent bystander stepping in to save an unwitting teen from a parcel bomb with their zappy hell treasure powers. Nothing weird at all! You zap around the room a bit by way of demonstration, ending up back where you started. Transportalization technology. I knew various competitors of ours had been developing something like that for a while, but I had no idea they were already doing field tests. I suppose it shouldn't surprise me. But a parcel bomb, you say? You gesture out of the window at the sad, obliterated remains of the mailbox. There was nothing anyone could do to save it, or its contents. Oh, shoot. Jane wasn't expecting any extremely important deliveries, was she? Potentially in the form of significant birthday gifts, or a copy of a mysterious computer game? You mean the Spurb Alpha? I'm not surprised you've heard of it. That isn't due for another week, though. I'm probably wrong, but I feel like November 11th was the alpha release day, and there's a couple other conversations that happen here that have got me a little bit confused as to the timeline of events, because the parcel bomb, right, was on November 11th, and because it was 11/11/11, right, because it was sent in 2011, that was the day of the Crocker takeover, so to speak, and the day that they started getting set up to enter the game. So I'm not quite sure where it being 1 week ahead comes into this, if it's, or like where exactly it's being placed in the chronology of a comic. Oh, well, that's a relief then. No harm done. I wouldn't go quite that far. Alpha notwithstanding, the fact remains that someone tried to blow me up. Okay, so some harm done. Gee, the nerve of some people. You cannot fathom who could possibly want to do such a thing, and especially to someone as harmless and personable as Jane here. Yeah, fuck, that's gonna bother me now, because I forgot I wanted to look that up. Because I usually play the volumes twice before I stream them, but I didn't have the chance to play this one through a second time. And I forgot that I wanted to poke around a little bit and figure out what the chronology was supposed to be. Whoops. Oh, come on. One doesn't like to state the obvious, but if I had to guess, it's probably related to my being in line to inherit one of the largest corporations on the planet. Crocker Corp has its enemies, there's no question about that. Oh, of course, that's why her surname was familiar. Jane is the new face of the Betty Crocker Company. You don't know what you expected. Considering what happened on your journey so far, you should have seen this sort of thing coming. Speaking of which, you wonder aloud if anything like this has ever happened before. The only thing that could make this any more surprising is if Jane had been sent similarly life-threatening cargo on any previous occasions. Oh yes! Why, we got mailed something similar just last week, in fact. Did I read that paragraph correctly? Yeah, because I remember that being mentioned too, but I don't remember if maybe they're trying to do a, like, there were 2 packages that she had tried to blow her up before November 11th, or if there was just one, or something. See, I just haven't been through Act 6 in a while. I've got like the alpha, not the alpha, the beta kid story is pretty down pat, but honestly, after finishing this Homestuck reread stream, I might just read only Act 6 again, because that's probably my foggiest memories is of Act 6, because that's the one where I was actually around to read it live. So I had, of course, a little bit of a different experience with it than the beta kids' stories and information and all that jazz. You try not to think too hard about the fact that Jane apparently fell for the exact same trick 2 weeks in a row. Father was out in the yard, about to take his car out back for a soak, when the blessed mailbox went up in smoke. It was quite the shock. Ever since then, he's been a bit antsy about me checking the mail myself, but today it arrived while he was out. Good thing, too. He would have thrown a fit if he'd known. I'm barely allowed out of the house as it is. I'm sure he means well, but it can come off as a bit overprotective sometimes. It's plumb ridiculous. A grown lass full of vim and vigor can take perfectly good care of herself. Ah, yes, just as every 13-year-old feels. I look back at, like, you know, the My Chemical Romance tours reminded me of the last time they were in Toronto, which was playing the Air Canada Centre, and I was 14, and I was, you know, I thought it was very silly that my parents didn't trust me to go by myself. And I look back at that, and I'm just like, fuck it, of course they wouldn't want a 14-year-old going to a stadium concert alone. Jesus Christ. You don't want to pass hasty judgment on someone's familial situation, but it sounds like Jane's father is just trying to keep her safe. It can't be easy, constantly deflecting death threats away from someone determined to walk right into them. Where's her sense of self-preservation? I suppose it might seem strange to the uninitiated, but you sort of learn to accept it after a while. I've been dodging death ever since I can remember. Hero of life coding stuff. People seem really determined to do me in. I simply can't explain it. Jesus. Wow. That must be pretty rough going. God, that sounds awful, actually. Being the imminent ruler of an empire must come with a fair number of people who want you gone. Thinking back to your encounter with Feferi, you suppose that you were recently part of such an attempt yourself, in a manner of speaking. I'm a little confused about that line, because, to the best of my memory, there's no point at which Feferi's life is in any danger in her route. So I'm not sure what element of the route it's pointing to there. You decline to mention this to Jane, and being reminded of your time on Alternia causes you to lapse into an uncomfortable silence. Jane looks around a little awkwardly before breaking it. So, not that I'm ungrateful for the fact that you appear to have rescued me from certain peril, but... Oh, right, of course. You're intruding in a complete stranger's home. You'd almost forgotten that this is the first time you and Jane have ever met. Your heart sinks as you consider that between the vastness of the universe and the determination of those attempting to murder her, this might be the last time you ever meet as well. Jane offers to show you out. On the way downstairs, you politely ask her how long it's been since her family moved here. Does she know if anyone called John used to live in this house? She gives you a strange look before gesturing to oh God, is that a corpse by the fireplace? You take a moment to process the fact that Jane has a stuffed human person mounted on a plinth in her living room. Feferi was in danger of being crushed by MSPA Reader's dummy thick ass. Oh yes, a constant danger to everyone around them. But also just like, yup, there's John. There's Alpha John just chilling in the living room in front of the fucking fireplace. She says it's her pop-pop, which you guess means grandfather. It's kind of hard to parse some of the vocabulary Jane uses sometimes. Anyway, the guy's name was John, and you can't help but see a resemblance to your good friend Egbert. You've encountered enough coincidences by now to know that this must be him, somehow. You must have traveled forward in time by accident or some such. This is the only possible explanation. Haha, you wish. You try very hard not to have a whole mental breakdown about your apparently long-dead friend, but sadly not hard enough. However, at the sight of your various expressions of horror, shock, and confusion, Jane perks up considerably. Did you know my dear old Pop-Pop? You should have said something. He was a popular fellow, so I suppose it was only a matter of time before one of his friends from his performing heydays came to visit. That's right, Jane. Keep talking about him and your friendship in the past tense. This is totally helping you feel better. But what you mean to say? Yes, Jane, you're absolutely right. You are an old entertaining friend of her Pop-Pop's who just so happened to be visiting the area in the middle of the, circus touring season? You try not to be too insulted when Jane eats the lie up without a moment's hesitation. Well, if one of old Pop-Pop Crocker's pals is here, I suppose I can't just turn you out on the street like some nobody. Tag yourself in the opposing dad figures. You're the one on the lowest shelf. Oh, yes. I am the one just above the shelf with the two pipes on it. And that's because it's me catching my balance from almost falling over because I have always had very poor equilibrium. Yeah. As much as I love so much about what's going on here, I gotta say it's stretching my suspension of disbelief just the tiniest touch to think that Jane would just wholeheartedly buy into this. But I understand that sometimes such stretches may need to occur for such writing. For, what's it called? The Pesterquest. Although, I don't know, not everybody needed to stretch the imagination like this, so. But yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure if she'd wholeheartedly buy into this so quickly like this, because she's the skeptical one, you know? You're the one on the bottom. You're the second from the top, yeah. Because you be dancing, yeah. Hit the hay because you didn't get enough sleep, but good night. Good night, Noah. I will see you very soon. Actually, I'm gonna take this pause just to have a drink of water. Yes, see you, Noah. Alright, continuing on. And Papa would never forgive me for giving a family friend the cold shoulder. You simply must stay a while longer, I insist. You cannot help but agree enthusiastically. And here you were thinking this volume was over before it really got started. Gee, this makes a nice change. Is it just me, or did that feel like passive-aggressive at the other volumes? I'm sure that wasn't the intention, but I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to mean. You've grown accustomed to putting in a lot of hard work to score some hangout time with various people on your journey, but all it took to convince Jane was a pre-established connection with her apparently very wealthy relatives. Just goes to show your stuff. I'm afraid I haven't fulfilled my duties as a host very well so far, but I'm determined to change that starting now. But, what to do? You've been playing the game of friendship long enough by now to sense an important decision approaching. You take a quick inventory of Jane's important character details, you mean interests and personality traits. She seems to have a passion for the lost art of sleuthing and famous detectives of years past. Her imminent inheritance of a baking conglomerate and expert spoon-wielding likely indicate that she knows her way around a cake or two as well. Why don't the two of you And here's our options. You thought about a Dirk Pesterquest route for 1 second and immediately got excited for no reason. He's not even your favorite. I mean, I'm excited to see what they do with it too. You know? And I'm really hoping that that it doesn't have anything to do with the epilogues. You know, just my opinion, but I like that this is exploring the characters as we know them from Homestuck proper. Just because, you know, it's nice to get new content of them in this particular state of being. But yeah, with Dirk in particular, I'm hoping that we'll get some good character analysis that's, you know, maybe has some thematic relation to the epilogues, but is not like direct reference or anything like that. You know what I mean? I know there are others who are hoping to high hell that it's filled to the brim with epilogue stuff, but I am not particularly in that camp personally. It is 11:50. It's like a little early to take a break, but this is just a really nice point because both of these are the long form endings now, right? So this is just a really nice point to take the break. So we'll do it a little early, just a twee bit. Turn down the volume and pop up the sign. So think about which choice you think we should make first. Practice some self-care or solve a mystery. And with that, give it some thought, and we'll be back in 5. Okay, I have eaten 3 Oreos and I am ready to go. Let's get that break sign off and put the music back on, because I know I forget to do that sometimes. Okay. So, who... That was the wrong word. What do y'all want to do first? You prepared to eat me 3 burritos? Oh my god, the kind of speed eater I'd have to be for that. Or just 3 entire meals in general. Oh my. Nah, I just had some fucking Oreos. I'm really glad we have Oreos in the house. I don't know why. I mean, like, I kind of know why. But I just had this really intense craving for Oreos last night, and we didn't have any in the house. But thankfully, Friday is grocery day, so I asked my dad to get Oreos, and he bought Oreos. But it was like, I was on the YouTube, and I saw, okay, because YouTube is now recommending me a bunch of, or the occasional, at least, Julian Solmata video, because I've been watching so much Jenna Marbles. And it was like this video where he tried to make Oreos, and I saw the cookies in the thumbnail, and I was like, God, I want Oreos so fucking bad. It wasn't even the advertisements, because I've been getting ads for Oreos on YouTube. It wasn't the advertisements. It was Julian's fucking cooking video. I went down to the kitchen. I was like, we don't even have anything similar. Fuck. So I'm really glad we have Oreos in the house now, and I'm probably gonna have like 5 more after stream today. So, choices, decisions. Does anybody have a leaning or preference for which route to do first? Because, of course, these are the 2 long-form endings. So we must decide. And I am not going to tell you which one is which ending for this particular volume. I played it. I ended up, the way that I played it was like good end first, followed by the bad end. And that ended up being a just fine experience, and I'm sure the other way around would also be a just fine experience. It's not one of those ones where I feel like it's imperative to play the bad end first or anything like that. So, choices. Does anyone have a leaning? Anyone feeling neutral? Oh, right. I also wanted to do a quick... I don't know if anyone cares about this but me. But, OBS report. Because at the beginning I was excited at having pumped up the visual quality. Where it was 0 dropped frames for the full stream when I was at 720p. At 1080p, it is at 0.01% dropped frames. It's at 85 frames, which is approximately 3 seconds. It's like... Let's just say it's about 3 seconds. Because I'm streaming at 30 frames per second. So, fun facts. That's how that's doing. So it's dropping. It's definitely dropped. It's a little bit harder on the machine to do it this way, but we're not getting lag on the other end. I think approximately 3 seconds is worth it to be able to both stream and upload to YouTube in shinier quality. I'm not getting any answers here, so I think I'm gonna roll my dice now. It's been a minute or two of me babbling, so I'm gonna grab my dice. Let's see which one's on top. D12? D12. Okay. Odd numbers, practice self-care. Even numbers, solve a mystery. That's an 8. So we are going to solve a mystery. Solve a mystery. It's been bothering you for a while, but for someone who claims to follow in the footsteps of some of the very gutsiest of gumshoes, Jane seems pretty unmotivated to find out who's been trying to murder her all these years. Perhaps you should use the means at your disposal to finally put this mystery to rest, once and for all. You suggest to Jane that maybe you should try to ascertain who the parcel was sent by. Bruh? Okay, you zoned out for a good 3 minutes, but you... Oh my god, that was your vote! I thought... Y'all... I thought that was in response to something else that I said. I'm so fucking sorry. Practice some self-care then. We'll do practicing self-care first. I'm so fucking sorry. I'm pretty sure it could possibly even, if you go back, you might even be able to hear me read the comment out loud and pinpoint the exact moment that I completely misinterpreted what you were saying. Okay, practice some self-care. You know what? All this heavy stuff has really been getting you recently. Christ, you left Alternia to get away from the hell-murdery nonsense, but if anything, it feels just as stressful back here on Earth with Jane. The adrenaline rush from the impromptu rescue is beginning to wear off, and your legs start to go all wobbly. You slump down against a wall, exhausted. Man, this really took a lot out of you. It's not a thinking kind of night. It really isn't. Is it ever, though? Yeah, a lot of my brain power today went into trying to get caught up in my stupid fucking courses. I'm behind in 2 of them. And I'm only taking 4 right now. So that's like half of my courses. Anyway. It's fine. I will get through it. I'll get there. I got pretty fucking towed the fucking line in most of my university terms. I am sure that I will get through this one with all of my course credits as well. It's just gonna take a little extra push. Oh, gracious, are you alright? Yeah, you just need a minute. Ugh, God, this is so weird and embarrassing. How come it's only once you were out of the bad situation that you stopped being able to cope with it? Ain't that the mood, though? You try to pull yourself together, but then your stomach growls like an aggressive, hungry cat. Come to think of it, you haven't eaten anything and you don't even know how long. Jane gives you a sympathetic, almost grandmotherly look. It sounds like someone's hungry. No, I didn't say that with enough enthusiasm. It sounds like someone's hungry. You know, I was planning on baking something after taking care of the mail. Although I guess that it took care of itself in the end. So since Plan A seems to have gone up in a pillar of smoke, let's move swiftly on to Plan B. Fancy helping me whip a cake into submission? We can call it a thank you for saving my bacon back there. Gosh, that sounds like a wonderful idea. You feel like you could eat a horse, or even better, a horse made out of cake. You can't remember the last time you had cake, in fact. Oh, now if that isn't just about the saddest thing I've ever heard. Oh, I love that part. Cute. I like the subtle wink and nod though. Like it's the Betty Crocker colors, but it's got the fork on top instead of the regular spoon. Because technically at this point, the branding is still all spoons. It hasn't flipped the switch yet. But we got that little forkadoodle in the top there. Jane sets you up with an apron and starts pulling ingredients and utensils out of various cupboards and drawers. Seeing the various colorful bags and boxes all lined up on the kitchen counter fills you with excitement. The idea of collaborating with Jane to make something delicious gets your heart racing. Surely there could be no better path to friendship than this. Once she seems sure that she's got everything you need, Jane fiddles with the oven for a few seconds. Just need to set the oven to preheat. Okay, there we go. Now let's get cracking, shall we? You look around expectantly, hoping to see a recipe book or similar amid the collection of baking equipment. Oh no, we don't need one. My Junior Battlemaster's Bowl Buster Stirring Solution 50,000 will do the trick just fine. Jane's hair kind of reminds you of frosting? Oh, true. I can see that, yeah. Oh my god, this is all making me hungry again. I'm gonna eat so many fucking Oreos after this. A passionate, burning fire seems to ignite in Jane's eyes as she brandishes her trusty red spoon. With a well-practiced motion, she adjusts a series of buttons and dials on the side, and a vaguely feminine robot voice begins to speak out of it. Triple chocolate layer cake, medium rare. Begin regime? Or begin regime? Whichever pronunciation that's supposed to be. Jane nods to herself and presses another button. The voice begins listing off a series of ingredients and measurements. You guess this spoon must have a lot more tricks up its sleeve than you originally gave it credit for. Technology really is amazing. You begin to reach for the bag of flour, but with lightning speed, Jane leans over and grabs it herself. She doesn't even seem to notice that she had to bat your hand out of the way. Oh, well, that's alright. Jane seems to know what she's doing, and you'd hate to spoil her fun. In the blink of an eye, she has the flour measured out and reaches for the butter. Appraised solidified bovine extract. You will comply. Jane continues her work in a thorough and efficient manner, and the spoon continues reading out instructions in a calm, steady voice. Medium rare. I know, like, that's such a fucking weird term to use for baking. It's somewhat soothing, even if the choice of vocabulary is a bit strange. It certainly seems to be relaxing Jane. Her face was a picture of intense concentration, but now her eyes appear dim and distant. She could almost be asleep. You're just coming to terms with the idea that baking with Jane is a spectator sport rather than a team game when suddenly a noise snaps her out of her trance. Oh! Her hand goes to her apron pocket and she fishes out her phone. Something on the screen makes her face light up with gentle excitement. You think you catch sight of something green, but she doesn't give you a good look at it. Ah, Jane. Gentle excitement at the sight of some botherings from a Mr. Jake English. I have to, take care of this? Whew. Whatever it is, it seems to have got Jane into a bit of a tizzy all of a sudden. She thrusts the spoon in your direction. Oh, sweetie. It's... yes. Early Act 6 and all the many fussings of relationship drama. Here, just follow the instructions. You can't go wrong. This is all happening so fast. Being entrusted with Jane's precious spoon and so early in your friendship, this must be a very great honor. She obviously believes in you a great deal. You try to assure Jane that you won't let her down, but she's already too engrossed in her phone to acknowledge it. You sigh to yourself knowingly. For all her antiquated phraseology and old-timey aesthetic, Jane is still a teen at heart. You saw a spoiler ending pic, so you think you know where it's heading. Well, let's see how we get there. Let's give it a minute to get there. Add ingredients to vessel. Commence liquidation. Obey. Oh shit, you were so caught up in being judgmental of a young person. Hey, that you completely lost track of what you were doing, which was, dissolve desiccated cocoa in boiling water. Submit to your labor. Hey, hang on just a moment. You barely managed to remember what the previous instruction was before the spoon moved on to the next step already. Oh god, what were the other ingredients you needed to add? You try to guess, but there are too many things on the counter and you don't know what half of them even are. You spare a glance at Jane, hoping against hope that she's noticed your plight, but she's far too distracted to help you right now. You'll just have to work it out by yourself. She's counting on you. Think, damn it, think! Fold cocoa paste into mixture. Make haste, the end is nigh. Woo, that's not ominous. They cucked us out of Jake dialogue. Honestly, I was like really excited to see some Jake. But no, we have to wait just a little bit longer. If they're going in introduction order the same way they did for the beta kids, then Jake is up next. No? Yes. If they're going in introductory order, it would be Jane, Jake, Roxy, Dirk. Yeah. No, I really wish that they'd given us a little bit of Jake dialogue here. Because, we get to see another certain someone speak at a different point in time. Not gonna say who, but you know, be excited for that. Eggs! You don't remember doing anything with eggs, but the spoon definitely called for some a while ago. In a... Sorry, I just, like, my mind kind of, like, kicked back a little bit. Yeah, because I hit blind panic, and I was like, what's a different way to say that? What's a way that to not use the blind in that particular fashion? I don't know, maybe I'm just overthinking it. You have... RIP MSPA Reader. You have theories about how the final route is going to go based on whether they do Roxy or Jake next. Oh. Be interested to hear. Sometimes this is the mood, though. Like, when you're just, not even just baking, like, cooking, anything in the kitchen. There's, you know, even if there isn't a spoon yelling at you, it's like, you know, even if, not even, like, what from a YouTube video recipe, moving on to the next step too fast. Just looking at fucking instructions and trying to multitask and being like, why is everything happening so quickly? As you may or may not be able to tell, I don't have a plethora of kitchen experience. I can definitely make things. It's just like the multitasking involved in making like a meal that requires you to cook multiple things at a time. Like chicken with fries and broccoli. That's like 3 different things going on at once, and I still have not mastered the art of actually getting the timing right. And usually I end up like this, with some portion of my meal being very cold by the time I sit down to eat. In a panic, you grab one and toss it into the bowl. Only after you stirred it into the mixture do you remember that it's generally best to remove the shell first. Pour cream into small saucepan and heat over a low flame for a few minutes, ensuring that it does not boil or simmer. Once the cream is hot, remove the saucepan from the heat. Cease reproduction. The calm robot voice isn't soothing to you. Not anymore. Its dulcet tones have become your tormentor. It wouldn't be so bad if it would slow down for a moment. Is there a speed setting on this spoon? If you just had some more time to think. Are you sure you would like to start over? Ah, wrong button! You can't go back, not now. You cancel the prompt and grit your teeth in grim determination. You can fix this. You have to fix this. It's like Jane said all those minutes ago when she sent you on this quest. You can't go wrong. It's at this moment that your eyes land on the bag of sugar. The noticeably unopened bag of sugar. It's just sitting there, smirking at you, with a look of unbearable smugness to the colorful lettering on its face. Who? Me? What could you possibly need me in a cake for? You tear the bag open and dump the entire contents into the mixing bowl with an ice-cold fury. Then you toss its gutted, lifeless husk into the garbage where it belongs. That's too much. That's so much. Just use like a cup measure. Just like a cup of sugar or something. A whole bag. Ugh. Revenge has never been sweeter. If they do Jake next, you think the final route is going to be Dirk, and it's going to be super meta, possibly leaning into Homestuck squared. And if they do Roxy next, it's going to fold Dirk and Jake into one Rooter volume and do something weird for the final volume. Ooh. Yeah. I like the second one. I think it would be neat if they did something really fucking weird for the last one. Because, like, they said it was going to be 20 characters in 14 volumes. But they could just be like, fuck it, and, like, do a shrub volume for the last one or something if they really wanted to. Oh, lordy, sorry to leave you in the lurch for so long. I had to deal with a friend in his daily moment of personal crisis. Yeah, that sounds like Jake. Although it's not really saying much. Quite frankly, most of his life seems to be one long personal crisis. Ah, Jake. The Jake we know and love. And I suppose I'm hardly in any position to complain. I do so like his company at the end of the day. So, anyway, the cake! How have you been managing? You don't look up at Jane when she comes back over to you a few minutes later, seemingly oblivious to the devastation you wrought on this poor kitchen. You stare down into the thick, lumpy batter sitting in the bowl in front of you, and in that stodgy, curdled mess you cannot help but see yourself. A complete and utter failure. Aww. Is everything alright? You want to tell her, to explain that no, Jane, everything is not alright. It's all gone to shit. You can't look anywhere except down. You can feel the bottom falling out of this friendship opportunity like that of a poorly supported Victoria sponge. Forgot to Google what the fuck that is. You know what? I'm just gonna fucking Google that one right now, because I can. Oh, it's a type of sponge cake. Very relevant reference then. Apparently, a Victoria sponge is a Victoria sponge cake. Once Jane gets a good look at this batter, it's game over. You just know it. As she peeks over your shoulder at your handiwork, you brace yourself for the dreadful moment you felt so many times before, across countless alternate selves and timelines. You watch for the telltale signs of a person deciding that whatever pathetic and somehow yet unspecified creature you are, They don't want you in their life. But strangely enough, the moment never comes. Instead, Jane puts a hand lightly on your shoulder and gives you a gentle smile full of teeth. There. No need to pull a face like that. So, yes, this ended up being a little bit of a misadventure, but it's not the end of the world. But Jane was counting on you when you let her down. You had something that needed to be fixed and you couldn't manage it. And as on so many other occasions during your journey, you only made things worse. You try to convince Jane of your guilt in this matter, but she simply shakes her head. Oh, pshaw, you did nothing of the sort. You tried to make the best out of a bad and confusing ordeal, and nobody can blame you for that. Even if your best is admittedly a little suboptimal. But sometimes when things go wrong, it's not a simple case of being able to fix it by soldiering on in the face of adversity. Sometimes the only way to set things right is to cut your losses and start over from the beginning. And that's not really the same as giving up. Yeah, she's so fucking right though. Sometimes it's best to just cut your losses and start from the beginning. MSP are the validation they so desperately need. Yeah. On a similar note, sometimes it's best to just take the L and move on. You know, when you're making a cake like this and you have all the ingredients really readily available to try again. But sometimes there are also situations where it's okay to just take the L and keep moving with your life. A lesson that I have had to take to heart on a number of occasions. You try with all your might to swallow this good advice Jane is serving you, but the look on your face must not be all that convincing. Jane sighs. Look, I'm sorry for abandoning you in an unfamiliar situation. It wasn't very responsible or leaderly. And it's certainly not becoming of a future president, corporate or otherwise. You accidentally added way too much water to a 1-minute cake in a cup and it was so mushy you had to take the L and throw it out. Oh, rip. Yeah, mushy, watery, over-watery cake does not sound like a very pleasant experience. Yeah, Caitlin, take the L and move on. Oh, yeah. See, cause, that's just, when I think about situations where I've had to do that, it's a lot of school stuff. You know, if for example, I have a couple of classes this year that have had weekly assignments, and it's just if I miss one, I just gotta take the L and move on. If I get caught up on trying to get caught up and do the assignment that I missed, I will just get behind for the rest of the fucking year. So I just, I gotta take the L and move on. So I missed this week. That's fine. I'll leave it. I'm not gonna try and do it now. I'll just move on to what's due next week. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's been one of those kinds of years. Although I think out of 12, 18, I guess maybe 16 classes at this point, I think I've only had to do that 3 or 4 times. So I think I'm doing pretty alright for that one, actually. But yeah, I think it's a very important lesson to learn, especially as a chronically ill and disabled person. Sometimes it's just not possible, and you just gotta keep moving, and that's okay. You suppose that's true. You guess you can accept that this mess was a group effort. Even in failure, it's important to acknowledge the power of teamwork. All the same, you hand Jane's rosy red spoon back to her. You are not worthy of its solemn mantle. Besides, some of the stuff that robot voice said it was beginning to seriously freak you out. Honestly, it meant a lot to me that you were willing to indulge my little hobby for a while. It may be the career path that I've been following my entire life, but you'd be surprised how little I get to talk about it with anyone I'm close to. That's true, she doesn't really get to talk baking with any of the other alpha kids. Not that we see anyway, but it just, you know, I think it makes sense that they wouldn't be quite ready to indulge, because I don't think any of them have a strong baking sense, if I give it a little thought. I'm trying to picture Roxy baking a cake, and I just can't fucking do it. or Jake and Dirk in their respective isolation holes. Survivor Man isolation holes. Anyways, wasn't the whole point that we were getting you something to eat, and as thanks for saving my life? Oh yeah, you guess you did do that. Good job, you. Your chest puffs up instinctively a little with pride, but the motion causes your still empty stomach to make its presence felt again with a loud gurgle. Speaking of which, we still need to take care of that. Letting a friend go hungry is completely unacceptable. So, how does giving it another try sound? Here's an idea. If you pick the recipe, I'll take care of the rest. I promise I won't get distracted this time, alright? I love the sprite, it's so cute. Her eyes like soften when she's being all earnest and shit. Her little hands folded up in front of her. Cute. Yeah, that sounds nice. Especially the part where Jane called you a friend. That was the nicest part of all. Cutting our losses. And there is that big ol' mess. But what's this? Was there? I thought there was like a fade there, but I guess not. Probably remembering incorrectly. No, there was. There we go. That's better. Such a good mom friend. Stream dropping a bit. What? See, that I can now say with confidence is probably Twitch or other internet connection shenanigans. Because, I'm still at only 85 dropped frames on OBS. Like, the percentage has dropped below 0.1%. So we looking good. You didn't see this end? Ooh, get ready. Here, you can look up the recipe using this. I'd lend my phone to you, but, well, you know how it is with privacy. Jane hands you what appears to be some sort of computerized tiara, stylishly cast in Crocker red plastic. You guess you just put it on? That's not too complicated. You've seen far more peculiar user interfaces in your various travels across time and space, that's for sure. The device fits snugly on top of your head, despite your apparent lack of ears. You feel which is, I find that line 10 times funnier because there's literally a reference earlier in the exact same route with MSPA Reader being like, your ears did not deceive you, the mailbox is gone, and now it's just like, despite your apparent lack of ears, it fits. Oh, you did see. Okay. You feel the Unreal Heiress Thoughtwave Tiara Top begin to mesh psychically with your own brain as you are mentally hooked up to the limitless potential of the internet. Every facet of human knowledge is at your cognitive fingertips. Your mind is awash with 100,000 pictures of cats in silly poses. Wow! I feel like at least a few of these are like cats that belong to members of the Homestuck team or something. Because I feel like I recognize some of these pictures from Twitter, but I don't remember who. Either way, Very cute. Jane is ready and waiting for your instructions. All you have to do is reach out. So you do. You begin to comb the web for something tasty, and you will surrender yourself, and you will cease reproduction, and you will comply, and you will comply, and you will comply. Wait, what? Obey. All at once, something hits the inside of your skull and begins to ricochet around your synapses and neurons, seeming to fill every corner and crevice of your brain with a deafening wave of silent noise. A single instruction uttered with incalculable force, impossible to ignore. Obey. Your mind, so susceptible to outside influence, is no match for it. You feel a million sharp pains as a million neural pathways are rearranged to form sharp angles and ordered lines and circuits. And in a blinding flash of light, her design overwhelms every part of me and consumes every atom of me, and then retransmits and amplifies the whole in concert with her will. I cannot know any different, because this is all that I am, and it is so much more than I was. I see her worthless protege's face twist in a look of horror at the sight of my transformation, but I do not spare her a second glance as I look skyward. I am free of such concerns now. In the eyes of the mind that now belongs to her, I see the place I need to go, and I reach out with the power I stole, and I step forward into it. And in her throne room, I kneel beneath her smile as she sets a course for everywhere. There are problems in this universe that require our attention. And I, her new weapon, smile too. We're going to fix everything. Condi Stuck Frondson Volume 12. Fucking rip? Oh, yes. So, yeah, it will be really interesting to see whether this is something that's acknowledged in future volumes, whether this, like, Crockertier MSPA Reader is a character that comes back around to fuck shit up, or if they're just kind of, or if they just kind of leave this as an open-ended do as you wish with this information. Theorize as you will how this could fuck things up. F. just an F in chat for MSPA Reader. Yeah. But yeah, we really need to see how they decide to handle this, whether they make it a relevant thing or if they kind of continue on the path that they were already sort of moving towards, which did not involve this. Yeah, poor MSPA Reader. Wait a second, why did I click on that one? Let's load up here. But yeah. Intriguing. And that was really... I didn't see that one coming. Okay. Yeah, it would be... Yeah, it would be interesting if, like, that was this sort of... Because in the epilogues... In epilogues, not plural. The epilogue for Friendsim, we met Doc Scratch. But yeah, potentially epilogue Pesterquest could be some sort of confrontation with this alternate Crockertier MSPA Reader, or directly with the Condis herself. Or both. Okay, but the only other ending we got left... One more... Solve a mystery. For real this time. Because I started reading this one before and then I realized I fucked up. It's been bothering you for a while, but for someone who claims to follow in the footsteps of the very gutsiest of gumshoes, Jane seems pretty unmotivated to find out who's been trying to murder her all these years. Perhaps you should use the means at your disposal to finally put this mystery to rest, once and for all. You suggest to Jane that maybe you should try to ascertain who the parcel was sent by. By whom was the parcel sent? What? Grammar, silly, it's very important. I appreciate that they tossed in one of these references to Jane's grammar particularities. Yeah, I do appreciate that they fit this little quirk in there. Oh, of course. You suppose you agree with that. After all, this is a text-based medium, and shoddy craftsmanship can only ever obscure information. Proper adherence to linguistic conventions is one of the utmost importance, ensuring the conveyance of salient details in a timely and comprehensible manner. But damn it, Jane, now isn't the time! You've got a case to solve! Yes, all right, but what exactly are you proposing that we do? There's very little evidence that we could feasibly collect. The two of you look forlornly out the window again, down to where the mailbox should be. Jane is right. That avenue of investigation went up in smoke a few minutes ago. The investigation has barely gotten started, and the trail has already gone cold in a blazing ball of fire. I'd suggest asking the mail office or similar, but I don't suppose they'd know anything detailed about the package's origins. It's not like regular mail workers have access to that kind of information. To make matters worse, the mail is one of the few public services Crocker Corp doesn't partially own, so I wouldn't be able to pull any strings. I like this line building off of because there was a vague idea in the comic of, Crocker Corp getting ready to take things over and Conda's getting ready to make her presence known. But, it was still kind of up in the air as to, how exactly that would work. But I like this little bit of world building. That, one of the few public services that Crocker Corp doesn't partially own. I don't suppose there was anyone watching at the time the bomb was placed, either. You have to admit, the possibility seems somewhat remote, but that gives you an idea. If there aren't any witnesses to hand, why not make some yourselves? What, bribe someone to falsify testimony or similar? That's certainly a novel way of going about it. Jane seems to be giving it a lot more thought than you would have expected, but in any case, that wasn't at all what you meant. You explained to Jane that far from merely being able to transportalize between any two physical locations, you also possess the ability to time travelificate to any point in the past or future. Not to be rude, considering you did just save my life and everything, but that does sound more than a little far-fetched. That's the skeptical Jane I know. Jane seems pretty skeptical about this, but you honestly can't be bothered to work through all of her personal misgivings about belief in the feasibility of time travel right now. You've been through this with more than a dozen people already. You decide to take a more proactive approach. Seeing is believing, after all. You grab her wrist and zap back in time. Jane, meet past Jane. Jane, meet future Jane. You trust that this will suffice as evidence. I don't... Alright, moving on. Minor. Just, potentially intended as a little callback to John's root. Or at least that's how I kind of picked that up. You appear fine next to the bush that you hid behind earlier and take refuge in it once again. A conveniently abandoned wristwatch on the ground nearby indicates that you have traveled an hour into the past. No sign of the white cat yet. The mailbox is there in all its beautiful, unexploded majesty, but stands empty as of right now. Oh, this is perfect! All you have to do now is wait for the truth to come to you. See, Jane? Isn't this exciting? Jane? There we go. Oh, yeah, that's right. It just flew over my head. I guess they must have, patched it or something, because the first time I played this, the animations, particularly for the characters in the dream sequence at the beginning, were really jittery and funky. Roxy! You did guess correctly. I mean, like, really, who else would it be? 911, what's your emergency? Please note that misplaced apostrophes on shop signs do not constitute an emergency. Constitute an emergency. And Lalonde, help! I'm stuck in the past! LMAO. Yes. What it that tipped you off? Was it the fact that nobody else talks like it's the 1920s? What? No! I mean this entirely literally. I am quite literally stuck in the past, in a temporal sense. Oh. OMG, wait, really? Who told you that? Was it TT? I bet it was TT. Yoinking my thunder, god damn it. Strider! No, you're not listening to me. Cause this hurt my heart so fucking much, cause poor sweet Roxy thought that Jane was finally ready to hear the truth and, like, believing them. But, oh, no. I have been transported back in time by a mysterious entity who recently saved my life from yet another ridiculous assassination attempt. Oh. Okay. Damn. False alarm, I guess. Wait. GCAT can time travel now? No, this is a different mysterious entity. They don't seem related to the God Cat, as far as I can tell. They rescued me from a parcel bomb in the mailbox a short while ago and have since taken it upon themselves to help me find out who was responsible. They're remarkably enthusiastic about the issue, almost as if it were their civic duty somehow. So, a number of mysterious abilities, intimate knowledge of mail safety, and a compulsion to aid random citizens? Are you sure this person isn't just your mailman, Janie? I mean, who knows what kind of magic those little guys can pull off? I love Roxy so much. It's fucking God. And how this whole conversation is the exact fucking opposite of John and Dave, where John just, like, ate up that mailman shit, and Dave was like, dude, are you fucking kidding me right now? But instead, Roxy's like, are you sure this isn't literally just your mail guy? God, I love her. I'm pretty certain they have absolutely nothing to do with the profession of mail delivery in any practical sense. Anyway, the point is, we are now an hour in the past from our perspective, waiting for the perpetrator to place a bomb that not a few minutes ago threatened to blow me to kingdom come. It's all a bit much to take in. Well, shucks, Buster. Oh, shucks, Buster, indeed. While Jane has busied herself with something on her phone, you've been keeping a lookout for anything suspicious. So far, nothing has happened. But now, just out of sight, you can hear the telltale sound of a vehicle approaching. You quickly gently elbow Jane in the ribs to get her attention, and the two of you peek your heads tentatively out of the bush. You watch as an unassuming van pulls up outside the house. You keep watching as an unremarkable person gets out and carries a small pile of mail over to the mailbox, totally unsuspiciously. From this distance, you can't really make out anything about them at all. This isn't nearly as helpful or informative as you had hoped. Oh, this is no good. We can't see anything at all from way over here. I think we might have to resort to one of the more advanced tactics in every detective's arsenal. I propose that we accost this delivery worker, tie them up, and then scrupulously interrogate them for any information they might have. You guess that would work? Jane seems remarkably unconcerned with the ethical qualms inherent in assaulting a public servant, and at some point you would have found this extremely alarming, but after a few months on Alternia, you are so accustomed to this kind of thing that the thought of actually disagreeing doesn't even occur to you. Jane gets into position to lead the charge. You reach your hand into a Terran reality, rummage around for a moment, and retrieve a long length of rope from somewhere in Terezi's hive. Hopefully she won't miss it. You mutter a quick prayer of apology to the guardian deities of male workers everywhere, and then... Now! The two of you leap from your hiding spot and tackle the hapless stranger just as they are about to climb back into the van. Have at you! Jane is brandishing her trusty spoon as threateningly as any sword. The poor defenseless postman is taken completely by surprise and topples to the ground. You quickly tie their arms and legs and then zap all three of you back out of sight behind the bushes again. Then Jane sets to work. She fixes your captive with a cast-iron stare and with ruthless efficiently begins to rattle off a relentless stream of astute and insightful questions. Her tongue is like a whip, beating her quarry into submission. Yeah, fucking rip this poor fucking innocent mailman who was just doing his fucking job. You watch in silent horror as she verbally dismantles this unfortunate soul piece by fearful piece. It's like watching a dozen interrogation scenes from a dozen gritty crime dramas and noir detective flicks all at once. She pretends to smoke an invisible cigar at one point, seemingly without noticing at all. It's so fucking... Oh, I love that so much. You don't even have words for what she does with the spoon. When Jane finally pauses to catch her breath, the nameless and faceless courier manages to choke out a few words and spill the beans. It is a scant few beans, you are sorry to say. They say they don't know much. Hell, with the dame roughing them up like that, they can't even remember their own name. But they do remember the mysterious package marked handled with care and addressed to the Crocker residence. They say they remember thinking that there was nowhere else the package could have been headed. With a surname like that, it was only fitting. You know, what with the big red spoon on the side of the box and everything. Jane doesn't say anything else. She just stands up and unties the prisoner. They are free to go. You flash them a look which you hope says something like, "I'm sorry for helping this distressed teenager tie you up in order to satisfy your curiosity, and I appreciate your ongoing public service. But you've never been great at nonverbal communication." A notification rings out from Jane's phone. Perhaps chatting with a friend in this trying time will offer her some comfort. You wander a short distance away, allowing Jane some space to process what's happened. You've learned the hard way that privacy is a fundamental right that should always be respected. How goes the investigation? Did you threaten a retail worker or something yet? OMG, Jane, you didn't, did you? God damn it, we talked about this. Jane, are you okay? No. I can't believe that I'm typing this. The company, my company, it appears that they were the ones who sent the bomb. Okay, you were right about them, I suppose. You're being serious right now? You're not, like, pranking me super hard for the mega lulz? No, of course not. I'm hardly in a joking mood. Oh, Jane, this is great. What? You finally pulled through. The batter bitch had the wool over your eyes, but by no more. Oof. This, like, hurts so much, but it's also so reminiscent of those early Jane and Roxy conversations. Not the time, Roxy. Keep the mirth in your heart and just be supportive to Jane, because it's a very big hurty world-shattering realization for her. Oh, that shit hurted. I'm so happy. What? No, this is awful. Oh, right. Of course, what I meant was that. Ugh, will you please stop talking for a second? I can't think with your endless ruddy-faced blithering all the time. I nearly died for the umpteenth time this morning, but survived only to have my entire worldview start to collapse before my very eyes by way of some mysterious time travel magic. Jeez Louise, this is easy for you. In fact, this must be Christmas and birthday come early for all three of you. You finally got what you've wanted, which was to prove me wrong. Your insane collective conspiracy about my entire life being part of some evil plot looks like it might just hold water after all. Congratulations! Go on, say that you told me so. Here, I'll even type it out for you to copy and paste so you don't have to worry about any more shit-faced spelling errors. I told you so. Oh, yeah, oof. Because it's, as much as it's like Roxy, goddamn. Jane, goddamn. But like, you know, again, that whole, you know, like this, of course, is, you know, we see this in the comic when she has that blow up at Jake, and then because of the blow up at Jake, she takes it out on Roxy afterwards. Both of them hurt my heart. But, like, it's fucking accurate to their characters at this point in the story. No. I'm not really sure what to say. You're kind of scaring me. Oh, I'm sorry. This is scaring me too. Jane sighs. You guess the conversation must be taking a turn for the heavy, but you can't say for sure. You're feeling good about your decision not to pry into this private discussion. It would truly be some kind of fucked up to intrude at such a vulnerable moment when people are rarely seen at their best. It feels as though I'm in the middle of an ocean. Oh, this next part. It hurts even. It's just like layers. There's layers to this hurt. Scratch that. It feels like my whole world is an ocean. Something so immense, so dark, so vast and deep, I can't even begin to imagine what might be beneath the surface. Everything I have ever known, everything I've ever been, is sinking down into it and vanishing with nary a trace, and my only solace is to jump of my own volition before I'm pulled under by force. And what? Is someone going to catch me and help me stay afloat? The only float my best friend in the whole world has any familiarity with is flipping cocktails. Yo! OMG. Jane, I know you're, like, being kind of mean and exasperated right now, but it means a lot to hear that I'm your best friend. I love you. Heart. Oh my god. Just the fucking layers, okay? Because she's making an analogy that's literally Dirk and Roxy's world. Like, the dramatic fucking irony. And then goes on to make another nasty-ass comment aimed at Roxy's alcoholism. But then Roxy's just like, oh, you call me your best friend. And that's what you're taking from that. Roll out, please. I'm only trying to express the depths of my existential confusion over here. The ocean, Lalonde! The abyssal infinite ocean! Can you even imagine what that's like? Oh my god! You're so many emotions right now. Me too. This whole... Oh my fucking god. On second thought, never mind. This whole analogy is contrived and nonsensical and couldn't possibly have any emotional relevance to anyone. Oh my god. Another sigh. God, I'm sorry. I'm not handling this well at all. I mean, to be TBH, no. But let's be real. I don't know what precise arrangement of emotional responses will even realistic ally qualify as, quote, handling this whale. Fish pun 4 topic appropriateness. Like, I guess I had this whole plan for how I get you to accept the truth. And it would have worked, cause let's be real. I'm a fucking genius. God, correcting the one word that's spelled correctly. But also, I'm pretty sure that it would have involved blowing up a whole bunch more shit. Or at least mega escapades. Espacades. How about shenanigans? Oh, you know it. Shenanigans out the ass. The point is, I knew that it would be hard. Maybe hazardous to our relationship and or your physical health. But I knew that you were worth it. And also for what it's worth. I don't give an effing fuck about dunking on your ass. None of us do. With a third and final huff, Jane slumps down on the ground, visibly deflated. All the tempest and fury is gone out of her, and now she's just sitting and gazing glumly at the wall of bubblegum pink on her screen. She seems utterly miserable. You want to comfort her, to offer solace and friendly counsel in this trying time. There comes a moment in every teen's upbringing when she realizes that the globe-spanning multi-billion-dollar corporation, which is her birthright, has also been responsible for some pretty shady and heinous nonsense, including multiple attempts on her own life. It's just a part of growing up. But somehow you just can't find the words, and maybe it's not your place to comment anyway. Before you can think of something to say, Jane shakes her head and starts typing again. Alright, that's enough sitting around feeling all forlorn. I'm feeling pretty okay, actually. No, me. I'm talking about myself. Yeah, oh my god. This new reality is one... Sorry, I started reading that not in Jane voice. This new reality is one that I simply have to accept whether I like it or not, and it's no good being glum about it, especially not if it leads me to mistreat my nearest and dearest. So I'm not going to be the leader of a worldwide megacorporation. Big deal. There are better things to be applying my savvy towards. The friends who have my back, for instance. Ugh. OMG. Janie, I'm loving this new enthusiasm. I understand I've been remiss in my duties as of late, but that ends now. Where once I had duty to my heritage, now I have a duty to those who care about me. The call of leadership comes from elsewhere. OMG, yes, these words you're typing. Meaningful and full of poignancy. Jane strikes a pose that looks at once determined, bold, fearless, and resolute, all while still typing furiously away on her mobile. It just goes to show how hard she must have trained for a moment like this. And so for my first act as a responsible friend with eyes unclouded by the sugary haze of a manipulative baking empire, I say that it ends here. The game in which we've been pawns for years stops today. Yes! Hell yeah! Yes. I think I've rather gone off the idea of games altogether, haven't you? Specifically, the game. Hell fucking... Wait, what? The alpha! I've decided I'm not going to participate. It's a Crocker Corp product and is clearly part of some grand evil scheme or another. It'd be positively suicidal to consider playing it at this point. Well, yes, but what? There's no doubt in my mind about it. Furthermore, as your friend, and as one recently reminded of her duty to care in this regard, I feel like I should strongly advise against any of us playing it. Or anyone at all, for that matter. Now that I think about it, it's our solemn responsibility to ensure that nobody ever gets their hand on this game. Just imagine the havoc it could wreak. We've got 1 week before the alpha is due to release. I'm sure we can think up some nefarious schemes to disrupt it in the meantime if we work together as a team. I trust I'll be able to count on your hacker skills in this endeavor. So, this is again where I'm getting a little bit confused about what the timeline is here. Because Roxy was hyper against the game until pretty close to the deadline, where she has a conversation with Calliope about how it would give her the opportunity to meet Rose. So again, with the alpha being one week in the future coming, I don't know, maybe I've got my alpha timeline mixed up. But I'll need to confirm a few things because it's not sitting quite right. Butterfly effect from MSP Reader in the other universes? I don't know. I don't know how far reaching that would be. But yeah, so that's my confusion here is... Because, you know, Roxy mentions here, you know, or alludes to the prior plan to fucking blow up Jane's computer. Under the guise of a Crocker Corp label, so to speak. And, like, I guess the other thing that doesn't quite fit into the timeline is I'm fairly certain that Jane's dad literally watches her get blown up by the mailbox. So him being out of the house doesn't quite click with that either. So there's a couple things that are kind of tipped as a starting point. But I think pretty far reaching because both universes ended in making this one. I mean, technically both universes ended in making this one, but the universes where MSP Reader retcon things are not the ones that ended up making this world because they were detached from the game, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Sure. Sure. Completely accidental lack of excitement. My 6 skills are yours to command. I knew it. You're the best BFFC one could hope for. Jane clears her throat, pockets her phone, and seems to have reached some kind of conclusion. That chat looked from the outside like it was one huge emotional journey from start to finish. You're glad that Jane seems to be feeling better for having had it, whatever they ended up talking about. Sometimes all you need is a friend to vent things towards in a healthy and productive manner. I suppose I should thank you again. Without your help, I may have never learned the truth. It's quite possible I would have lived out the rest of my potentially very short life without another opportunity to see things for what they really were. I don't know how I shall ever repay you. Since nothing today has changed the fact that Jane is ludicrously wealthy, you can think of a great number of ways she could feasibly repay you. But that might just be pushing it a little too far all at once. So instead, you effortlessly spin some yarn about this being what friends are for and so on. It's a speech you've given many, many times before. I love the sudden appearance of this sprite at the end. I've depended on you for a great deal, but now I think it's time to forge my own path, and under my own steam, I'll show the world what Jane Crocker can accomplish with naught but her 2 bare hands and the millions of dollars that she grew up with. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an existential crisis to avert. Existential crisis! And off she goes. MSPA readers had multiple. Of note, MSPA readers had multiple costume changes throughout Pesterquest, but for some reason that Malik hoodie is just like, of all the costume changes, it's the one that like really stuck. You know. LMAO mood, yeah. Let's go over an existential crisis, yeah. Sometimes that's just the mood. So let's take a look at that Chumroll. Cooking by the book. You set Jane down the path of leadership. And the credits. Writing was Pip Dillstone. And character arts was once again the lovely Gina Chacon. And background artists. Courtney Brendel, and the same with ending illustrations. Music, that was another new Jane song. And this is actually a couple of the links are about the music. So, there was a mix-up with the music this week, so I needed something roughly an hour before launch. I used an old track that was about 20 seconds long, and I spent maybe 15 minutes fixing it up before submitting. I've been taking a step back from Pesterquest music as we shift into the final stretch for other What Pumpkin projects, but I'll probably do at least one more. Anyway, sorry this track is kind of short. I wish I had more of a heads up, but I hope you like it. Yeah, I think it was still quite charming and quite fitting. And of course the name is just, I guess. So we... hey, does it have a name? I guess. Jane's theme. I guess. Yet another brilliant origin story for that. So, switching back into... Hussey drew Doc Scratch's manner in this? Wait, what? You're talking about the Andrew Hussey prologue. I think that's referring, because all of the Doc Scratch ones are already from Hive Swap Friend Sim. I forget who did the art for those. If maybe I just open up Friendsome and check. But I think this is likely just referring to the... what's it called? The, like, panels that we get where MSPA readers, like, running down the hallway and, like, reaching into the house and, like, those sorts of panels. You're wiped. Fair, fair. Good night. Have a good rest. But yes, I think that's saying the new art was Hussey. Because I've noticed, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I've noticed that they didn't put down the specific credits for any of the reused Friendsim panels. So yeah, I think that this is just the ones that were new for that particular section. Yes, Jane's theme, I guess. Game design and programming, Adelaide Gilligan, which we'll close this down, switch gears back over to the browser. That is the final link for today, is to our lovely new programmer on Twitter at Oxford Roulette. So, yes, happy to announce that I'm signing on with the Pesterquest team in the twilight hours of the project, helping with programming the last couple volumes. Hey! So, that, my friends, is Jane So, thanks for hanging out. I hope that y'all had a lovely little time. Yeah. I had, all in all, an enjoyable experience with the volume. I know I had a number of gripes as we went through it, but I did have overall a very enjoyable experience with it. God, I love the fucking sprites. They're so good. Really excited to see this upcoming Wednesday who the next character is and what kind of order they're going to be going for. And with that, I hope I'll be seeing you all at tomorrow's Homestuck reread stream, because we're getting back to Homestuck rereads on page, I think 800 and something. I misplaced my notebook. I took it somewhere else to do another thing, and then I forgot to put it back. But it's 800 and something. We're in Act 3. Yeah, it's gonna be... Tomorrow is going to be a very good stream. It's gonna be some good shit. So, come on out. We'll chill. Read some Homestuck. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you had fun. With that, it's time for me to log off and go eat some more fucking Oreos and keep doing that schoolwork I need to get caught up on. Okay. Have a lovely rest of your day, whatever you may be getting up to. Fingers crossed I'll be seeing you all right back here for Homestuck Reread tomorrow, or One Shot next Wednesday. One Shot Part 5. See you around. Good night. Homestuck Volume 5 will play us out.